What's up, guys? This is Jock from Cool Movie Reviews, aka CMR, and I'm your gracious host. And today, let's have a discussion, man. Is Marvel losing the juice? Is Marvel losing steam? Is the big dog bowing out? Let's talk about it, man. All right, let's get into it, man. So the reason why this discussion and I'm having this discussion and this discussion has been brought up over the past couple of weeks is because of the dip that Doctor Strange had in the box office um, um, for the past couple of weeks. So Doctor Strange started off strong. I think it made like $437 million worldwide or whatever, something to that extent. But it did have a big box office a dip of 67%. And if you don't know what that means is it's the rewatchability. So anytime a movie comes out, of course it's going to have a strong opening, and it depends on if it's a good movie. So for example, Marvel movies have had a track record of being just the greatest latest thing. So they tend to hold strong in the box office, that number one spot for like weeks on weeks on weeks on weeks on weeks. So prime example, Endgame. Everybody rewatched Endgame like 4 or 5 times. I think I watched it maybe 2 or 3 times myself. And the rewatchability was amazing with that movie, and that movie just kept going. And I think it finally took a dip like in week, I think 10, I believe, and like don't quote me, but it was something to that extent. So for Doctor Strange to take a dip like it did this early, a lot of people it has people concerned. Is Marvel losing steam? Is it losing the juice? And that's why we're here to talk about it. I honestly, I don't think so. And we're just coming off of a pandemic, and C-19, and a lot of people are still trying to get used to being out with masks and everything like that. I know the world is slowly getting back to normal, but not all the way. So that has some effect to it too. It goes down a different path than phase 1 and phase 2 and even phase 3, right? We're in phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which includes Black Widow, Shang-Chi, the Eternals, which those three movies did okay. They did okay in the box office, but it just didn't have that same magic as phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 did. And also, it's that everybody's trying to figure out where they're trying to go, in which direction they're trying to go in phase 4. And I think that's where everybody's confused at as well. And see, with phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, that was a clear-cut direction, right? Phase 1, we knew, okay, we're setting up these characters. We're trying to get to know these characters. So what you need is each character needs 3 movies to really get that core. So they had that core base. It was the Hulk, Black Widow, Captain America, Iron Man, and the Hulk, right? Hawkeye, right? And so that was our team. Like that was our people. So we've been rocking with them for almost 10, 15 movies, right? We get to phase 3 and that chapter ended. To me, it should have kind of ended with that, right? And I think it kind of did. And what Kevin Feige, and I like Kevin Feige. Shout out to you, Kevin Feige. I know you might not have watched this video, but if you do, shout out to you. But I like what they did. They knew, okay, hey, we've done this. We've done the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Black Panther was one of my favorite movies of all time. Came out in, I think, phase 3, right? It was one of the big setups to Endgame. So what you introduced to was the Disney Plus streaming services. So in phase 4, you got a conglomerate and a mix of just everything. You got a mix from the TV shows and the movies. So what they're doing is they're mixing both of them. And I think that is helping them, but it's also hurting them too, because you're trying to be grounded, but at the same time trying to be cinematic as well. So you're mixing them, and I feel like now they're doing a little bit too much. But are they losing steam, or are they losing the juice? That's the big question. No, I don't think they are. I think they can only go up from here by introducing the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, Hell, even the Inhumans, they can introduce an element of them, because I know originally they had a show, but the show didn't do so well. So you can even introduce them. Doctor Strange allowed you to introduce multiple elements into the MCU. So it's gonna be pretty interesting to see how they do this. But I like the direction that they're going. I like Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was different. I like what they did with the multiverse. I wish we could have explored the multiverse a little bit more, but it's okay. It's okay. You take time. You gotta build up to it. You gotta, get that slow burn, as they say, right? But they're getting more comic booky, if that makes sense, with this particular phase. We're gonna end up leading up into Secret Wars, and if you don't know what Secret Wars is, please just stay tuned. I'll have a video of that soon coming out, explaining what Secret Wars was in the comic books, and even I think they have a little cartoon about it too. It's pretty dope. I think they're leading up to that. We're gonna eventually see the X-Men. So we got a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. One thing I will say that they could run into is comic book fatigue, right? It's like the cowboy movies back in the day, in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. My granddaddy was a huge a cowboy movie fan, and that genre of movies took off, right? They had a long stretch, but eventually they lost steam. So that's one thing that you'll probably have to watch out for with these comic book movies that I think can hurt Marvel, and also the emergence of DC. I think people are ready to see what DC can do, because I've been waiting for DC to take off since Batman versus Superman, right? And even with Christian Bale, Batman Begins, I think they could have they had the ball, man. They could have used that, and they could have built their cinematic universe, but Marvel beat them to the punch. So, no, I think Marvel knows what they're doing. Kevin Feige knows what he's doing. He has a strong base. He's done this before. So, guys, there's no time to panic. There's no need to panic. I know I've seen some folks on Twitter, and the reason why I'm having this discussion, there was a thread on Twitter talking about where this phase doesn't have a clear-cut direction, and I think they do. We just don't know who the big bad is yet. I think once we figure out who the antagonist is, I think we'll feel comfortable. And what I mean is, who's going to be the next Thanos, right? Who's going to bring that big? Who's going to be that one guy or a girl that's going to bring the Avengers back together? Whoever the big team up movie we're going to have come back together. So I think that's what we're used to, but it's good to have something different. So guys, that's my thoughts on it. I don't think that Marvel is losing steam. I think Marvel will be okay. But once again, guys, thank you for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And again, this is your boy Jock from CMR Cool Movie Reviews, and I'm out, man. Holla. Peace.